Ninjago has been around for nearly 15 years, building a huge lore, but sometimes the show changes things or straight up ignores its own story. Today we're diving into the biggest Ninjago plot holes nobody talks about. These aren't just small slip-ups, they're wild, confusing and honestly sometimes hilarious moments that could completely flip the story on its head. Trust me, once you see these there's no going back, because your entire view of Ninjago is about to blown wide open. Let's jump right in. How are the ninja holding the golden armor? Let's talk about the golden armor. This epic suit made from the combined golden weapons. It was hyped as crazy powerful and totally unstable, right? So you'd expect it to explode, or at least when held by Kai or anyone else. But nope, it just works. No explosion, no meltdown, weird, right? Here's what might explain it, and yet this is some deep lore you might have missed. When Zane sacrificed himself, he actually drained a ton of the armor's power that weakened it, so they could hold it safely without it killing them. So yeah, the armor not exploding isn't just a plot hole, it actually kind of makes sense when you piece it together. But since the show never really spells this out clearly, a lot of fans just call it a plot hole. What do you think? Was this armor drama handled well, or should it have exploded for the hype? Zane's body confusion. Zane's robotic body is confusing. In some scenes he's got buttons and panels, and in others his power source is totally visible. Is he switching bodies, upgrading, or did the writer just mix up how his robotic design works? There is no actual explanation for this. It could just be a mistake they never really looked at, because we first saw his body in season 1 with buttons, and in season 3 while Pixel was looking at his power source. Now we only see the second style, so the design is probably changed. Lloyd's hair color inconsistency. Lloyd's hair color is a mess. His parents, Carmadon and Misako, both have brown hair. Did the show forget basic genetics, or is it something they haven't looked at? But this might explain it. The first Airjitzu master, or Lloyd's grandfather, actually had blonde hair, so it could have skipped a generation, meaning that the theory of Wu being Lloyd's father is totally wrong. How is the Airjitzu temple still floating? The Airjitzu temple that somehow defies gravity for no clear reason. It just hangs in the sky like it owns the place. But how? What's keeping it up there? The temple started floating because of the events in season 6, when Nedekan used his wishing powers, but Jay's last wish made it all go away.
I wish you had taken my hand, and no one ever found that teapot in the first place.
Erasing season 6 out of the timeline, so how can the temple still be floating in season 7? It could be that the temple has a special barrier that blocks out changes in time itself. That could be the case because the temple of Airjitzu uses dark magic, so even when the timeline reverses or shifts, the Airjitzu temple stays the same. That's the only logical explanation, that it is still floating even though the events are erased. So while it looks like a random floating plot hole at first glance, there's actually some deep magic and time weirdness holding it up, even though the show doesn't explain it. How did Morro use lightning? Morro's lightning powers always raise some eyebrows, like wait, isn't he the elemental master of wind? So how did he suddenly blast green lightning bolts out of nowhere? Here's the thing. In the episode Ghost Story, Morro combined his ghost powers with Lloyd's energy. That fusion let him fire off some serious intense green lightning. And it gets crazier. When Morro actually possessed Lloyd's body, he could manipulate Lloyd's elemental powers. We see Lloyd using energy as fire in season 8. And we also know that energy is a combination of fire, ice, earth and lightning. We saw Lloyd using all those 4 elements in season 2, including energy. But after he gave away his golden power in season 3, Lloyd lost those abilities, and when Morro possessed Lloyd, he could use a combined version of wind and energy. And the lightning look could be because energy is a combination of fire, ice, earth and lightning. This could always be an animation mistake, but it was not officially confirmed. So it's not just random lightning, it's Morro using a mix of his wind power plus Lloyd's elemental energy. Makes sense in the show's logic. but it definitely confused a lot of fans. How did Jay use wind? Here's a weird one. In the early seasons of Ninjago, there's actually a scene where Jay seems to use wind powers. But wait, isn't Jay supposed to be the elemental master of lightning? This was later confirmed to be an animation mistake, but the funny thing is that Jay actually said wind. Video effects mistakes are pretty common, but messed up lines means that the scriptwriters confused Jay's power. So Jay using wind and Morro using lightning doesn't mean they're connected in some way. One was just combined powers and the other one was an animation mistake. The golden weapon rules. Who can use them? Let's talk about the golden weapons. The 4 weapons used to create Ninjago. The golden weapons each had a power of creation. Anyone could use the golden weapons. In the pilots we saw Kai use the Sight of Quakes, and in a pilot short we saw Cruncha and Knuckle use the golden weapons. The pilot shorts were canon, but them using Spinjitzu wasn't actually canon. And in another pilot short named Battle Between Brothers, Cormodon was fully corrupted by evil and wanted to take the 4 golden weapons of Spinjitzu. Then Wu also took some weapons and could actually use the powers of the golden weapons. Now those rules changed in season 10, March of the Oni, where Nia said that the golden weapons wasn't reacting to her. So that means that only the elemental master of Earth could use the golden weapon. The golden weapons were remade by Kai. So maybe the rules changed because of it, but that isn't confirmed. This could be the reason, but it was never actually confirmed, and maybe they just changed the rules of the golden weapons. How did the Stone Warrior get out of the bottomless pit? The Stone Warrior was trapped in a bottomless pit, but somehow he escaped. There's no clear explanation or shown escape route. This pit was supposed to be infinite, so the escape breaks logic and feels like a lazy plot. There's a theory that the pit was connected to Cryptarian prison, but this wouldn't make it infinite, and they can't be connected because the bottomless pit is underground and Cryptarian prison is above ground. There is no actual way of him escaping a bottomless pit. So this is just something they forgot. Why does Chen have Zane's pink suit if it was washed off? Here's a classic confusion that a lot of fans point out. Lloyd once said that the pink color on Zane's suit was washed away.
Well, it took me 20 loads, but your suit's no longer pink.
So how does Chen still have it in his collection? Seems like a big plot hole, right? Well, the truth is, this all comes down to a bit of a sneaky trick by Chen. Here's how it actually went down. When Zane's pink suit was washed, Chen's agents actually stole it and replaced it with an identical look-alike. So the ninja thought the color had faded or was gone, but it was just replaced by a fake pink suit. That's why he kept the original pink G safely stored in his infamous Hall of Fame, a trophy room full of items. This was never actually confirmed by the show, so we don't know if this actually happened. This means Chen's collection having the pink G does make sense, but how he got it is not fully confirmed. What is Zane's power source? Let's clear up one of the biggest mysteries about Zane. What actually powers him? Zane is an android, meaning he's basically a ninja robot made of high-tech mechanical parts. But his real power source, it's his elemental power of ice. According to Lego, Zane gained his ice power after an encounter with the elemental master of ice.
An old man visited us last night, the master of ice.
This gave him the ability to control and manipulate ice, freezing things, creating ice, Spinjitzu, Airjitzu, and even the Rising Dragon technique. Physically, Zane's power source isn't just magical. It's also shown as a core or heart inside his body, where his elemental power is stored. So even though he's a robot, his true strength comes from his elemental connection to ice. That's what makes him special. What is Lloyd's actual power? One of the biggest questions in Ninjago has always been, what is Lloyd's actual power? Well, Lloyd's primary power is energy, even called life in different parts of the story. This energy is a fundamental force that connects all living things, For Lloyd, it's a source of incredible abilities and his deep bond with his family and a ninja team. A Ninjago energy is officially classified as an elemental power. Before he lost his golden power, Lloyd actually had access to the 4 elemental powers of creation, but at his core, his true power has always been this raw, life-giving energy. Energy is said to be a combined version of the 4 powers of creation: fire, ice, earth and lightning. Lloyd's power has different names, mainly called energy, but it was called power by Master Chen,
For you, Lloyd, Master of Power.
green in a movie by Master Wu,
Your elemental power is green.
What's that?
which isn't actually canon, and life by Roby in Dragon's Rising.
It's Lloyd, elemental master of life!
Lloyd's power comes from the source ringen of life.
He wields an element. Who among us claims him?
He's one of mine, a descendant of the first.
And life is also spelled lightning, ice, fire, earth, but Lloyd's power is mainly called energy. Even Lloyd himself calls his power energy in season 4. Different characters have called it different things. Master Chen called it power and Roby called it life. Lloyd's elemental power is mainly called energy, and it is still one of the strongest elemental powers in Ninjago. How did the other Serpentine not die of hunger? This one's pretty interesting. A lot of fans ask if the Anaconda Serpentine were starving and even resorted to cannibalism. How come the other Serpentine tribes didn't die out from hunger too? The key thing to know is that the Anaconda were the only Serpentine tribe known for cannibalism. Their hunger was so desperate they even ate their own kind. But the other Serpentine tribes, they didn't face that problem. But snakes can only survive a few weeks to a month without food, so how did they not all die? Maybe their tombs had access to food, and because the Anaconda were the strongest, they maybe want them to starve to death. While this was never explained in the show, they probably had some access to food. Why can the ninja use their true potential no more? This one's a fan favorite mystery. Why did the ninja suddenly lose their true potential abilities after season 2? Well, the key lies in the golden weapons. Early on, those legendary weapons weren't just cool gear. They were the source of the ninja's full enhanced powers. The weapons amplified their elemental abilities and unlocked what was called their true potential. But then, at the end of season 2, things changed. The golden weapons were destroyed when they shot the mega weapon to space. After that, the golden weapons were turned into the golden armor. Sure, the ninja got their elemental powers back in season 3, but these were just their basic powers, nowhere near the full strength they had before. On top of that, in some storylines the ninja's powers became linked to Lloyd's power, meaning without Lloyd their powers weren't as effective. There is a theory that the ninja could sometimes tap into their true potential without the weapons, but the show never really confirms this. Instead, the story shifted focus. It was all about elemental powers now, and the true potential became more of a thing of the past. Lloyd's age should reset after the mega weapon's destruction. Here's a tricky one. Lloyd's age doesn't always seem to make sense, especially around season 2's Wrong Place Wrong Time episode. So what's going on here? The mega weapon created things like Captain Soto and his crew, who died years ago, and the Grundle. Lloyd used the Tomorrow's Tea to make the Grundle back to bones, but doing this results Lloyd to becoming 5 years older. It was confirmed that Lloyd went from 10 years old to 15 years old. Then, in the episode Wrong Place Wrong Time, the ninja gets sent back in time, resulting in time changes. After that, they destroyed the mega weapon. It was said that all that was created or resulted because of the mega weapon should have turned back to normal, but actually some effects stick around. Lloyd's older age and the presence of Soto and his crew, who are tied to the mega weapon aftermath, dinges vanish with a time jump. This is explained by what the show calls the nature of chaos. Basically, even after the big time changes, some consequences are so deeply rooted in a timeline that they refuse to disappear. Even though Lloyd actually aged because of the Tomorrow's tea, he wouldn't use it if the Grundle never came back to life, making this one of the biggest plot holes. So despite the timeline reset, Lloyd's advanced age is one of those persistent effects, stuck in place because chaos itself resists change. So there you have it. 14 of the biggest Ninjago plot holes nobody really talks about. Some are small, some are massive, but all of them show how even the best shows can have inconsistent moments. Did any of these blow your mind? Drop it in the comments. If you want more deep dives, crazy theories and Ninjago secrets, hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.